And that they had to, you know, like put them in some sort of container other than a besides the casket, the other. I don't know, think about it.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Both, yeah.
But how would you? What makes you? Yeah.
I think they're only one. Even if I'm longer, you know that you keep all things quick and fast. You got the, I don't know how you say it. You know? Yeah. I'd be scared to death. I'd be scared to death.
Bullets coming over the hill at you, you don't even know where they're coming from?
Never even thought about that.
So, 1,000. There's all ridges that close to you. See that big ridge when we go out here? I was thinking, I'm sure that would be bad. It probably was. Yeah, but just think about it. You just shoot your gun up over that hill because you know there's some Americans over there. And it's like, you might get them, you might not. It's like, oh my God. So they did. The machine gun didn't march right over the hill.
Those are north of us. Those are Minnesota and Wisconsin. I think when people hit the train, they looked out the window, and when they saw something that looks like home, they jumped out.
Did that, yeah.
Exactly. You know?
Yeah.
So this is former Mayor Richard.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where all met.
to meet you.
So,
And Denis just said that many of those who were in the Battle of Fismes we met, who were brought here, were American Indians, because culturally, their tradition is you are buried where you fall.
I couldn't give you the numbers. I mean, one of our signatures is whether you're a general or private, you get the same treatment. So I know of some Native Americans, American Indians, mostly in the 32nd Division, Winnebagos. There's one buried down there whose two sons were in the same company. They saw their father killed. He came out here around late 80s, early 90s, the surviving son, to smoke a peace pipe in front of his grave. So could be true. I don't know. I mean, because the Army did the burials and kept the documentation. We perpetuated the maintenance, built the structures. So really, when I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years. I've been interested in it since I was 18. I have a lot of experience with exhuming the graves. I've probably seen 100 caskets opened up. Part of the philosophy is everybody's the same. So the only distinctions here is in the First World War, they engraved Distinguished Service Cross, Navy Cross, French or Belgian, Croix de Guerre, and Medal of Honor. In World War I, they only engraved, World War II, they only engraved the Medal of Honor. And some people were saying, well, where are the Muslims buried at? You know, 100 years ago, they really didn't have those kind of sensitivities. If you go to the National Cemetery System now and look at the symbols you can put on a headstone, you have 5 pages of them. Everybody from Wiccans to atheists. Back then, they wanted our cemeteries to look like a battlefield cemetery, which was wooden crosses. But the Jewish community petitioned for Stars of David, so we have 100 Stars of David in our cemetery. But you can look at the inscription. It's very curt. It's not like British. It has his day of birth, the personalized inscription. It just says the state they were inducted from or the home of record, regimental level, unit, their date of death, and their name and rank. So they're all kind of indistinguishable. I mean, it was a segregated army. Blacks fought separately, but they're buried beside each other here. So although the army was segregated, the cemetery isn't.
I noticed a large number of unknowns.
Yes. There are more unknowns here than any other World War I cemetery, including the Musagano has 14,000. We have some burials here from Bella Wood because we still had an operating mortuary, so they were found up to like 1928, 26 they're buried here. There's a lot of unknowns in this plot here. It just kind of worked out that way. They didn't want all the unknowns in one spot, all the 28th Division in one spot, all the 47, so they left open spots. I kind of stopped you here to just kind of explain what they're doing here because one of the side operations here is a robot. We either engrave new blank headstones or we refurbish old headstones. For an example, if the equipment operator would bust a headstone in Normandy, he goes into software, inserts a picture, says where it's at, he needs a replacement. Then the directorate in Paris farms it out to either here or the Musagano. As a rule, Carrera marble goes in World War I cemeteries, kind of has black veining, and Lhasa marble goes in, which is white, goes in World War II cemeteries. But at the end of World War II, when they did those cemeteries, they had a lot of leftover Lhasa marble. So into the 50s, 60s, 70s, when we needed one here, they sent us a white one. So what you see the crew doing, we have a very strict criteria, the size of the chips, the curvature of the headstone, the depth of the inscription. When it needs to be replaced, we either reutilize one, you can shave it down and use it one more time, it'll still be within the tolerance of the measurements, or we engrave a blank. So what you see the crew here is you can see the excavation. The reason those headstones are aligned is they sit on a beam. So basically from a wooden marker, they inserted a beam underground, so all you had to do, there's a bronze dowel sticking up in the air to get your basic sit, there's a hole in the cross, stick it on top, then you string it, mortar it into place. So what the crew has to do, they have to excavate a square, they have to use a air hammer to bust the mortar loose, they'll take that one out, they'll mortar one in, so it has to sit, you can see kind of here. So when you walk past, it's fine to look at it, but that's a little bit of, everybody here is in a casket. There's no headstone without a grave. Everybody here was put in a casket, and there's no commemorative graves. People that were here and went to the States, every headstone has a casket with remains inside of it. They don't know who it is, it's going to say unknown. We know they're American when we don't know who. All our cemeteries have anomalies, kind of little strange things. There's a guy buried over here called A.P. Kua, civilian. You know, what does that tell you? So, like I said, I found my dad's friend. I was 19 years old. I've been interested in this since I was that small. So I have a lot of experience with records. He was a Filipino from Hawaii, killed on a torpedoed ship. It took a week for him to wash ashore. He had a piece of paper in his pocket that said A.P. Kua. His name is Alex, but I'm sure that family doesn't know that he's buried here because the shipping company just said the ship went down and he disappeared. You know, Gray's registration was given the body. They buried it in a temporary cemetery. So in the documentation, it will say no record in the Navy. So there's a civilian here from Russia. Mary Moore was a Hollywood actress. She's down there. But for 97% of the burials here, there's 117 Marines, 51 sailors, 26 aviators. They're the doughboys here. That's the signature of this cemetery. There's one French unknown. Why is he here? I can't tell you. There's one piece of paper from 1965 where the authorities say they can't tell us. We think he was killed over there by Le Charmel. When they pushed up from the Marne, it was the 42nd on the left, the 3rd on the right, and a French regiment in the middle, because it has his regiment on the headstone. So the best guess is he was buried with Americans. The French lost 1.5 million dead. So without email, without internet, who are they going to tell where they're going to move him to? He was probably a liaison. He was probably killed with an American unit while he was buried with our guys. So he had already been with them for 5 years. They said, we'll take care of him. So he's here. So you may see something. Sometimes they'll say a name in U.S. Army. So many people died of flu. They got sick on the ship. They were never even in a unit. They will say infantry, U.S. Army, but it won't say 28th Division or any unit. Okay? So you can see where the flags are out here. That's the grave I like to talk about. Let's walk out there and take some time.